Hi friends, this is Andy with Iso Rice. Today I'm going to teach you how to make Larb, which is the national dish of Laos. Laos is a Southeast Asian country located between Thailand and Vietnam, and therefore uses many of the same ingredients that are found in the cuisine of its neighbors. Larb is also very popular in northern Thailand, and you'll find it on the menu of some Thai restaurants. So even if you live in a city that doesn't have any Lao restaurants, chances are your local Thai restaurant will have this dish available for you to try. In fact, since Lao food is something that is not really understood in America, some Lao restaurants will simply call themselves Thai. This is despite the fact that Lao people have their own distinct language, culture, and cuisine. Larb is sometimes referred to as a meat salad, since you essentially take all of your ingredients, then toss them with a sweet and sour dressing. And like a salad, it's very easy to make once you have all your ingredients gathered. The one I'll be making today will be made with pork, but you can use other ingredients like chicken, beef, duck, fish, tofu, or mushrooms. You can usually find all these ingredients that you'll need at the local Asian market. The ground toasted sticky rice may be less common, but luckily it's not hard to make your own. In addition, I'll also be trying out a product made by Omsom, which makes these sauce packets that help make cooking various Asian dishes a little easier. We'll see how this compares with the lot we make from scratch. This was sent to us by a local marketing company to celebrate the release of Disney's Raya and the Last Dragon. Even though this isn't a sponsored video, I am a huge Disney fan, and I was already excited about their first movie inspired by Southeast Asia. So I was happy to not only promote Asian cuisine and culture like I usually do, but to also tell people about this movie that features a part of Asia that is rarely represented in American media. Here are ingredients. Culantro is also known as sawtooth coriander, and it has a flavor very similar to that of cilantro. So if you can't find culantro, you can go ahead and use cilantro as a substitute. If you're having difficulty finding palm sugar, you can just go ahead and use regular old white sugar as a substitute. Today I'll be using this prepared roasted rice powder. If you have difficulty finding prepared roasted rice powder in your market, what you can do is make your own. What you'll need is to take some sweet rice, otherwise known as sticky rice or glutinous rice, and toast it in a dry pan for about 15 minutes, then grind it in a coffee grinder. I'll be cooking our pork over medium-high heat, and I'll be using a spoon to break it into small chunks. And I'll be constantly stirring it until it's thoroughly cooked. Now that our pork is no longer pink, we're going to go ahead and add the rest of our ingredients. First, we're going to start off with our shallots. And the residual heat of the pork in the pot is going to help to mellow out the flavors of the shallots so it just doesn't have as much of a bite to it. Next, we'll add in our culantro, scallions, and our mint. Now for our red pepper flakes, fish sauce, our palm sugar, and at the very end will be our roasted rice powder. We don't want to add this in too early because the rice powder will end up absorbing some of the liquid and then it'll turn it all mushy. We want to retain some of that crunch of the rice powder because that will give it a great texture. Give it a good stir, and we're ready to serve. Now, time to try out our homemade authentic pork larb. Pork is nice and juicy. Get a bit of little heat from the red pepper flakes. Nice herbaceousness from the scallions and the culantro, and a lot of brightness coming from the lime juice, and the accent from the roasted rice powder gives a nice bit of crunch and nutty flavor. Simple to make and comes together very, very quickly. Now, to make Omsom's Larb recipe, we'll need these ingredients. If we take a look at the ingredients for the Larb sauce, we see that it's made from fish sauce, lime juice concentrate, cane sugar, and Thai dried chili flakes. These are essentially the same ingredients that we use, except for that they use cane sugar and we use palm sugar, but it's a fine substitute. The process for making Om's Larb recipe is very similar to my own. All you need to do is cook your pork, stir in the sauce, add the herbs, and then finally add in the toasted rice powder. Now to try Omsom's Larb recipe. It's very similar in flavor to the one I made from scratch, which makes sense because a lot of the ingredients in the sauce packet is basically the same ingredients that I would use for the made from scratch recipe. It's a little more spicier, and the lime flavor isn't as pronounced, and I think that's to be expected because in order to make a sauce that's shelf stable, you have to pasteurize it. And whenever you heat up citrus juice, it loses some of its acidity and its flavor as well. So sort of imagine the differences between fresh squeezed orange juice and frozen concentrate. But in general, I would say it's pretty close. And I would recommend this for beginner cooks because the great thing about this is that you have just the amount of ingredients that you need in order to make your recipe. And this is good for people who don't want to buy a whole bottle of fish sauce and not know what to do with it later on. But if you're a follower of my channel, then knowing what to do with a bottle of fish sauce isn't going to be a problem for you. Please give this recipe a try. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below. And we'd also love to hear what you'd like to see in our future videos. Also, check out the trailer for Disney's new movie, Raya and the Last Dragon.